Princess Poppy's Castle Adventure, a funny tale of hard work and determination. Once upon a time, in the sunny kingdom of Blossom's Hire, lived a beautiful princess named Poppy. With her sparkling green eyes and a smile brighter than a summer day, she was beloved by everyone in the land. But despite being a princess, Poppy wasn't one to sit around idly. She had a bold spirit and a sense of humor that made even the royal chickens cluck with laughter. One sunny morning, Poppy's father, King Cedric, called her into the grand dining hall. "Poppy, I have exciting news," he said, twirling his long mustache. "In 3 days, Blossom's Hire will host the Grand Harvest Festival, and all the neighboring kingdoms will attend." Poppy's eyes lit up. "Oh, how wonderful, father. Our kingdom will look so grand and inviting." But then she looked around the castle with a critical eye. She noticed the paint on the walls was peeling, the tapestries were dusty, and the gardens were looking a bit, well, wild. "Father," she said, trying to keep a straight face, "our castle could use a bit of a makeover." King Cedric chuckled. "Well, dear, if you're up for the challenge, you may take charge of preparing the castle. But remember, the festival is in 3 days, and there's no magic allowed, only hard work and determination." Princess Poppy gasped but quickly regained her composure. She had never turned down a challenge, and she wasn't about to start now. "Don't worry, father," she declared, rolling up her royal sleeves. "By the time the festival begins, our castle will look like a dream." Princess Poppy set off to work with a sparkle in her eye, determined to make her father proud. But as soon as she entered the grand hall, she realized just how much there was to do. Dusting, scrubbing, painting, oh, the list was endless. Luckily, Poppy's best friend, a mischievous court jester named Jingles, popped in with his usual bag of tricks. "Need a hand, Poppy?" he asked, juggling 3 plums and a turnip. Poppy laughed. "Absolutely, Jingles. But remember, this is serious business. We need to make the castle sparkle." Jingles grinned and pulled out a feather duster, giving it a dramatic wave as he started dusting in silly patterns, creating puffs of dust that sent both of them into giggles. As they worked, Poppy quickly learned that making the castle shine was no small task. She tackled each room, carefully scrubbing, dusting, and polishing. The walls needed fresh paint, the tapestries needed to be washed, and the floors had to be polished until they gleamed. Despite the hard work, Poppy's determination kept her going. She worked from sunrise to sunset, and although she was covered in paint and dust, she felt a sense of pride in every room she completed. By the end of the first day, Jingles flopped onto a dusty cushion, exhausted. "Poppy," he panted, "I didn't know royalty worked this hard." Poppy, equally tired, just grinned. "Sometimes, the best results come from hard work, Jingles. And a little sweat never hurt anyone." The next morning, Poppy woke up bright and early to tackle the royal gardens, which had been taken over by unruly weeds and wildflowers. Armed with a small spade, she began digging and pulling, her hands getting muddy and her royal gown turning into a mess. Jingles tried helping by chasing butterflies, which wasn't very helpful but kept Poppy entertained. As she worked, her neighbor, Farmer Frederick, strolled by and chuckled. "Princess Poppy, you're working like one of us," he called. Poppy wiped the mud off her forehead and grinned. "Well, Frederick, today I am one of you. Hard work can be fun, especially when you know you're making a difference." Farmer Frederick nodded, impressed by her determination. "That's the spirit, Princess. Keep going, and you'll have a garden fit for a queen." By the time the 3rd day arrived, Poppy and Jingles were nearly done, but there was one last task, hanging the new royal banner. It was the final touch to welcome the guests, and Poppy was determined to make it perfect. With a deep breath, she climbed the ladder and hung the banner high above the castle gates. As she climbed down, she stepped back to admire her hard work. The castle sparkled, the gardens were blooming, and the walls glowed with fresh paint. Even Jingles looked spick and span, though he had an extra smudge of paint on his nose. King Cedric arrived just as the sun began to set, his eyes widening with amazement as he looked around. "Poppy, the castle looks magnificent. You did all this with only 3 days. Poppy beamed with pride. Yes, father, but I couldn't have done it without Jingles. And I've learned that there's a lot more to hard work than just getting things done. It can be fun, especially when you know you're making a difference. King Cedric smiled, placing a proud hand on her shoulder. You've learned the value of hard work, Poppy. It's not always easy, but the results are worth every bit of effort. Just then, the castle doors opened, and the guests from neighboring kingdoms arrived, marveling at the castle's transformation. The Grand Harvest Festival began, and laughter and music filled the air. That evening, as Poppy danced under the stars, she realized that she had done more than just beautify the castle. She had grown stronger, more confident, and had proven to herself that with hard work and determination, she could accomplish anything. And as for Jingles, he juggled turnips for the guests, happily boasting, "All it took was a little royal sweat and some muddy paws."